Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rich over at TVP Live once again with a quick tutorial for Michelle. So basically, she asked if we can separate her dog from the background. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We'll unlock the picture in this layer up here. And let's first try to fix the picture a little bit before we do anything. We're going to go to Enhance and pick Auto Fix. And that gave us a little bit better of a contrast. And I'm going to fix it even a little bit more. Go to Brightness, Contrast, and let's make her dog a little brighter. That's what we want to do. If we contrast a little more, that's going to wash it out. So we want to contrast a little bit less to give the detail back. As we brought up the brightness, we lost detail. So we bring the contrast down to give the detail back. Here's before, after, before, after. So she's going to appear brighter, cleaner. And then let's get rid of a couple of these spots. We're going to grab the little Band-Aid. I forget what it's called. It looks like a Band-Aid. We'll call it that. And this is at 10 point. And if we do a little dot right there, it should take care of that. We can even do a line. Get rid of these little sun dots on her nose. If we wanted to, let's see if we get any other noticeable big dropouts, and I don't see anything else that really needs fixing. Alright, so we're done with that. The next thing we want to do is let's brighten around the eyes just a tad. So how are we going to do that? Let's add a layer, and I'm going to grab the whitest part that I can find, which is right here. I don't specifically pick white because if you notice, we look at the color that I picked and it's not quite 100% white. It's actually 98%, and that'll better match the actual colors of the dog. I'm going to grab a brush and make the brush nice and soft. Let's try 100 point, see where that is. We kind of like that, and it'll give us a nice soft edge around that. So we're going to paint around the eyeball like that, and let's paint around this eyeball too. And we want to leave a little bit of the original, so we'll lessen that afterwards. Now, let's grab the eraser and paint just the eyeball back, and that was a little bit smaller than 100 point. Let's go 75 point, and this will be the eyeball. I'll just tap it there. 5 taps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, let me show you the before and after. Before and after. Now, obviously, that looks a little fake, so now what we want to do is, let me do one more to make sure that it's nice and black, the eyeball. Let's take this this layer of white and go to the opacity, and I'm going to purposely take it all the way down and then just kind of ramp it up a little bit until we find something that looks nice and natural and real, because this looks fake. This looks like it needs a little bit of help. The dog's got wet eyes in the corner, and we want to give her a nice shower and bring some of that white back. So we'll do something, and I'm just bringing it up until it looks natural. And that's a little too much. Go a little bit less. I like that. That looks pretty natural. It says up here 47%. I like round numbers, so I'm going to change that to 50%. And here's the before and after. Before and after. And that's how we brighten up around the eyes. Next, let's take her nose area. I think we're okay here. Maybe we can brighten this up just a little bit. So I'm going to separate and add a different layer for this new area. Grab the brush, leave it at 100%, but I want to keep the mouth showing. So I'm going to draw a line above here like this, and I'll just touch this up. We'll lessen it up to show more detail. I'm going to purposely lessen this all the way down to about 40%. I'm going to turn it on and off so you can see right through it. But I made it down to 40% so I can take the eraser and bring this down, the eraser size down to about 25%, and draw or erase back the mouth, the little bit of mouth that's left over. And once we have that out, I want to erase the rest of that white. So you can see here what's left over down here has to be deleted. But how much is that exactly there? To make sure you know, what I do is add a layer in between that top layer and everything else, and give us nice black background drop it in there, and that'll show you the exact difference. I like this layer at 44% or so. I'm going to bring it up to 100 so I know exactly what I want to erase. Grab the polygon tool and draw polygons around what I want to erase, and I'll delete it, and now it's gone. What's left over is exactly what I want left on the picture. Let's bring the dog back, bring the eyes back, and now I'm going to toggle the new piece on and off. Okay, now obviously that's too much at 100%, so let's lessen it down to what looks natural. So we'll bring it down, and then we bring it back just a tiny bit, just about there. And once again, I look up here and it's 51%. I like round numbers, so I'll leave it at 50. Now, it's a little bit unnatural there, so what we do is now take the smudge brush and let's keep that brush at a smudge. It's at 25%. That's too little. Bring it up to 50%. And I can smudge it down a little bit into the mouth. And this will give it kind of a little more of a natural look if I smudge it in and out. And there we go. Now it really separates the top of the mouth from the bottom and brings that smile out totally. See that? I'll smudge this to make sure it's nice and soft. And finally, oh, and that was at 50%. Let's bring it down to 40 so it looks even more natural. There we go. Leave it at that. And finally, we can lighten up the bottom chin just a tiny bit more. So I'm going to add yet one more layer. We got our brush. Let's pick that white again. We like it around there. The brush was at about 100%. Let's bring it down to 75% and draw that bottom. Let's try that again. Start it up a little bit higher. Draw the bottom half of the chin here and bring it all the way up to there. Once again, we're going to have to erase some of that, but let's bring this down so we can see what we're erasing. So we can draw in and out until bring the opacity back and forth until we find something that's really natural. I like this. This says 46. I like round numbers. I'll make it 45. Then I take the eraser. Let's make it a nice big brush, 50%, and we'll erase. Oops, that's too much. Erase everything under the chin, but a soft erase so that it looks really natural. And there we go. I'm going to zoom back out. I'm going to toggle that back and forth, and it looks really natural. This was, I think we can add 5%. That's at 45. Let's go to 50. And then this part here, I think we're okay with that. Maybe we can bring it down. It's at 40%. Let's go to 35. Actually, 30. Let's go to 30%. And then finally, the eyes. Once again, let's toggle the eyes, which are up here, I believe. Oop, that's the chin. Here's the eyes. Okay, the eyes. It looks a little unnatural, so let's go ahead and bring that from 50 down to 40%. And there we go. Now the dog looks nice and clean and natural. Lastly, let's go ahead and marry these effects to the photo. You might want to leave them separate if you think someday you want to change it. So I put these three different effects, the eyes, the nose, and the chin, and I just basically grab all three of those, right click, and say merge layers, and then I can merge them down onto the face. Now the dog is all put together. It looks really nice. Next, we're going to cut out the dog. So I grab the dog's layer, and I want a nice small, soft brush, but a small one. So let's try 15 point. And we're just going to follow the dog's natural fur. So we took our eraser tool and we erased a little line, soft line, all the way around. Now we're going to take the polygon tool and we're going to draw a polygon line in between, oops, there we go, the eraser point and our original image. This is basically going to allow us to delete everything but the background. Okay, so we're drawing a polygon around the whole image here. And now that it's there, we pick the layer that we want to change. We right-click and select the inverse. This selects everything else but the image that you drew the circle around. When you hit the delete button, it basically deletes everything but the image. Now we do Control D to get rid of our outline, and we're left with your nice little puppy. So here we go. We can give you the file just as it is, but since we already got her here, let's go ahead, her or him, here, let's go ahead and play around and finish off the picture in case you wanted to frame it. So we made it a little bit smaller. I had a little bit of a surprise for you, and this is it. I got some feet. I borrowed some feet from another dog. So let's go ahead and bring that into your image, and hopefully we're going to get those to fit right. And bring those feet in here. If I put those feet both behind the dog, then I can better place them before I try any kind of blending. Okay, so I'm going to first get the angle right, and then get the size right, which is right around there, let's say. Okay, so let's first of all take that image here and draw in simply by smudging up where it wasn't there. And there we go. That's easy to do. Because the hair is fuzzy, it's easy to blend it in. Speaking of blending it in, we need to blend in this the original dog with the new feet. So let's take the new feet first and try to bring it down to a closer color to the original picture. We'll take the brightness contrast. Let's bring the brightness down. It's going to be a little bit darker, and bring the contrast down too. It's going to be kind of hard to match this because it's dark down here. We might have to lighten up the original to match this. And let's take that and use that, and take this one, go to Enhance, Lighting, Brightness, bring this brightness down too, bring the contrast down to kind of match, and we like that. Alright, so now let's take the original picture, smudge, get a nice big brush, let's say 75%, and we're going to smudge the original picture into the new picture, and basically it blends it in. And then we do a little bit of this so that it doesn't look unnatural, and do the same thing with this one. There's this weird line that we left there, but it's okay, we'll fix that. We're going to smudge this new piece down into here. And the more you take it into the new pieces, the more natural it's going to look. And smudge this a little bit, and it's okay, it just looks like it's been blurred out slightly. I want to take some of the original feet and erase it now with a big broad brush. Let's do a 100-point soft brush. I want this to blend from the new piece to the old piece. So if I just click it right here, see that? It blended in. And the reason it blended in is because it erased the original image and did a soft dissolve into the new feet. And there we go. Lastly, let's take this tail, and I don't know how fuzzy it was, but let's add a little bit of fuzz on our own. And we can literally do this by hand. Let's do a 50-point. It doesn't have to be anything really fancy. Just add a little bit of fuzz. And since it's kind of a lower resolution picture, it's not going to matter that much. And we could even do something like grab. I'll do a lasso. We can grab a little bit of this and copy it. And I can bring that over here. And erase a little piece of it so it looks a little different. Make it a little bit bigger. Turn it a little bit there, and then stretch it out. And it's hard to tell, but maybe we didn't like it so stretched out. Anyway, that's part of the tail. Doesn't have to be perfect, like I said. And let's just change its color. Go to lighting, go to brightness. We always use that, and make it a little darker, and there we go. It matches in. See, here's really light, here's really dark, and I go somewhere in between until you can't really tell the difference. Just right around there. Finally, I will marry this layer down. One, I say merge down, and then I'll take the smudger and just do a little bit of smudging to make it look like a natural tail with the hair kind of ending. And there we go. Go like this, like that, and there we go. Here you got your pup. Last but not least, let's add the pup into some nice background. And then last but not least, in between the two, we're going to add another layer. And what are we going to put in that layer? Well, I think what's a natural thing to put there is, with a nice big broad brush, is going to be shadows. The shadows right underneath the feet and underneath here. All this would be dark if the pup was really sitting there. Basically, now work with the percentage of the shadow to make it look natural. I'm going to lessen it. I'm going to make it more. Now, if it was really sitting there, you wouldn't see so much grass. So I'm going to darken this to the point that it would be natural, which is right here at a 76 point or so. I like round numbers, so I'm going to make it 75. Anyway, there we go. That's how we are able to cut out your pup and put your pup in a picture on its own, and we'll frame the picture like so and cut it out, and there we go. That's all there's to it. This was a longer tutorial for Michelle, and I hope you like that, and we'll show you the finished product on a lower post. That's it for now. Over and out. Have fun. Bye.